Dark Crisis was released on December 1st, 2003. This set introduced the Archfiend archetype, an archetype that, according to the Upper Deck Entertainment website, are a special category of monster considering there were numerous translation issues when these cards were printed in the TCG. Dark Crisis also introduced the Guardian Archetype, an archetype that relies on having certain equipped spells active on the field in order to summon their corresponding in-archetype monsters. Additionally, a new ban list went into effect prior to the release of Dark Crisis on November 17th, 2003. Breaker the Magical Warrior and Tribe Infecting Virus were both now limited to 1 copy each, which is odd considering the fact that the format-defining Magical Scientist managed to come out completely unscathed. In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and I can't keep living a lie. The truth is, the only reason that Alex keeps putting me on these episodes is to inflate his own win rate after performing poorly in every episode of Progression Playoffs. I know, it's a lot to take in, but it's the truth. I'm definitely not covering up for the fact that I'm secretly just very bad at Yu-Gi-Oh! And keep ending up in this god-dang shirt! Oh boy, well, it's our, I believe, 4th consecutive week in the Shirt of Shame, and the stench is back. There's nothing I can do about it until I win, so, we're gonna have to go ahead and do that. Now, this ban list, the December 2003 one, has a lot of interesting stuff on it, and by a lot, I mean very little, and interesting stuff, I mean obvious hits. Breaker and Tribe Infecting Virus go to 1, 2 cards that were unbelievably strong, but nowhere near as broken as the other stuff that remains legal. This is one of the last times we get away with a list that does not include literal bans. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of reaching this vanishing point at this period in history, where you're playing all these one-ofs and have to assemble some sort of win condition out of them. We've done so by playing what can only be regarded as one of the first decks that has synergy in the history of the game. Playing Skill Drain and Final Attack Orders with a suite of unmatched beaters. We're playing Giant Orc, Goblin Attack Force, and Spear Dragon. Listen, I'll come clean. I lack the brain cells clearly to play control or combo, and there's only one option for me left. This deck that was meta for a couple of weekends. Goblin Attack Force, take me home. I'll go through the individual cards real quick. We're on the newly limited Breaker the Magical Warrior. It's kind of Gemini Elf, but a lot of the time it's also destroying spells and traps that would give us pause. 3 copies of Giant Orc. He's an okay downgrade to Goblin Attack Force. The reason he isn't strictly worse is they printed a Union monster, which mitigates his downside, that we are not going to be playing. Triple Goblin Attack Force, you all know him, and some of you love him. We've got Jinzo, still the hallmark of the format, alongside Triple Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Now, you may be wondering why we're playing this in a deck that contains Skill Drain. The answer is, it's a good card. Most of these decks were playing 3 Kaiku just because their suite of beaters had to have some cards that were independently good if you weren't able to find your continuous traps, and this is a way to do that. We're on Sinister Serpent, I mean, we're still on Graceful Charity, so whatever. Triple Spear Dragon, this is a fantastic out to goats specifically. It pierces, which cards did not do at the time, and if we've got Final Attack Orders online, then it is always on. Tribe Infecting Virus cleans up gummy board states very nicely, and Witch of the Black Forest finds everything in our deck because they all have 0 defense. For spells, we're on Change of Heart, Darkhold, Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, Harpy's Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, Painful Choice, Pot of Greed, Premature Burial, Raigeki, Snatch Steal, and Double Nobleman of Crossout. We've completely elected to get rid of the hand destruction tools because they're just a little bit too slow. We aim to go over everything Alex plays regardless. More importantly, we've cut Heavy Storm because we can't afford to lose our own back row, and we've put back 2 copies of Nobleman of Crossout because we'll be able to banish any of the control cards that would be giving us pause. As far as traps go, we're on Call of the Haunted, of course, to push for lethal. Final Attack Orders you may not be familiar with. It changes all face-up monsters to attack position and prevents their position from being changed. Great with Goblin Attack Force and its associates. We've got an Imperial Order, a Mirror Force, a Ring of Destruction, and Triple Skill Drain. Now, this is the format in which Sakuratsu Armor is printed. We are not playing any copies of it main deck because we will always be winning combat. It's not like something's going to be attacking into our attack position Goblin Attack Force and we have to preserve it. we're just going to walk over it repeatedly with final attack orders up. In the side deck, we've got double Book of Moon, double My Body as a Shield for games 2 and 3 when Alex goes all the way in on Sakuratsu Armors, triple Mystical Space Typhoon, double Sakuratsu Armor, triple Solemn Judgment in case he's on combo nonsense, and triple Torrential Tribute. So while certainly the previous 2 decks were far and away the best things you could be playing during this era, we want to showcase some of the other stuff that you might have run into rather than ramming Magical Scientist down your throat for the second week in a row. Hopefully, Goblin Attack Force will be a slightly longer game than Magical Scientist.
This is going to be a particularly fun episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! So Joseph and I decided that for this specific point in time, we're entering Dark Crisis. We just got a somewhat new limited list that just limited Breaker and Tribe Infecting Virus. For the most part, the decks have stayed the same, right? You guys know Magical Scientist, you guys know Hand Destruction, and we're approaching Invasion of Chaos, which is really going to warp Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. So before we leave, Joseph and I wanted to showcase some of the unsung heroes of this time, and this is definitely one of them. The main reason for that is because one of the key combo pieces in this deck actually gets limited, making the viability of this deck much lower, so I want to play this deck now before I don't get the chance to later. Introducing Butterfly Dagger Elma FTK. So, this is a very interesting deck. The fundamental reason why this deck works is because of Butterfly Dagger Elma. The card reads, the equipped monster gains 300 attack. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard while equipped, you can return this card to your hand, in tandem with Gearfree the Iron Knight, which says if a player equips an equipped card to this card, destroy that equipped card. This essentially creates an infinite loop where Elma will continuously return to your hand, and you can perform this as many times as you want. Now, there's a few ways that this FTK works. One of them is to pair it with Royal Magical Library. This is probably one of the more difficult ways to pull this off because it turns the FTK into more of an OTK because you need to have to actually get out Royal Magical Library plus Gearfree the Iron Knight. It's not impossible when we have reborn spells and the like, but having to commit to 2 normal summons during this period is a little bit difficult. But basically, since we have infinite activations of Butterfly Dagger Elma, we can then get infinite counters on Royal Magical Library, draw our entire deck, and ideally summon Exodia. That's what we're going to primarily be aiming to do, but the more realistic FTK for this deck is in tandem with a card known as Spell Absorption. Spell Absorption is a continuous spell that reads, each time a spell card is activated, gain 500 life points immediately after this resolves. Since we have infinite activations with Butterfly Dagger Elma, we can theoretically have infinite life points, and there's no conceivable way that Joseph can kill us through traditional means. The only way that would be doable is through either an alternate win condition of his own, or he would have to deck us out, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, but at that point, as long as we just make sure that our deck count is slightly higher, we should be okay. Other than that, we're just playing a ton of other just Exodia good stuff cards that will just help us get to our combo pieces and help make this FTK or OTK more doable. So let's go ahead and do the card by card. First up, we have the 5 pieces of Exodia because that is our main win condition. 3 copies of Gearfree the Iron Knight. This is the heart and soul of the deck because without him, we would not be able to loop Elma infinitely. 3 copies of Mystic Tomato to get to either our Witch or our Sangen, which can then fetch us to any of the other combo pieces we want. 3 copies of Royal Magical Library. Again, it's a combo piece, so we want to see it. It also is fetchable off of Shining Angel. Shining Angel is just Mystic Tomato, but for lights, so we can actually get Royal Magical Library out if we just, let's say, set a Shining Angel and then pass. He attacks over it. We summon Royal Magical Library. On our following turn, we summon Gearfree, equip Elma, and we just basically win the game. From there, we have 3 copies of Butterfly Dagger Elma. Elma actually gets limited on the next list, so it becomes a little bit less consistent to be able to pull this off. Although there are some people sadistic enough to try it, there are ways you can work around it. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then we just have a bunch of the one of good spells. We have Graceful Charity, Harpy's Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, Premature Burial, 2 Reinforcement of the Army. I think this might be the first time we're playing this in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is great because this is basically like 5 copies of Gearfree the Iron Knight. It's also a spell, which means it works with Spell Absorption. One thing to also note about this deck during this time is that Spell Absorption was actually a great way to get you out of range of Magical Scientist FTK. If you went first and you had Spell Absorption and any spell card, you could gain 500 life points points, and since Magical Scientist FDK does 8,000 damage exactly, Spell Absorption just barely got you out of that range. It wasn't guaranteed that you were going to win, but at least you had a fighting chance, and you could ensure that you weren't going to automatically lose the game. So that's actually something pretty noteworthy and pretty heads up when it comes to the specific meta. We also have an Upstart Goblin because, again, life points don't matter for us, and we just want to get to these cards as quickly as possible. For the trap cards, Backup Soldier is back at 3, so we're going to play 3 of it just so we can recur any of our Exodia pieces if they happen to go to the graveyard. 1 Call of the Haunted to bring back any of our recruiters, and that way we can search anything we might need, and 3 copies of Wabaku. So the reason we want to play Wabaku in this deck is because, again, with Royal Magical Library, with Gearfried, we probably need about 2 turns of setup if we want to win via Exodia. So if we do something as simple as summon or set Royal Magical Library, set Wabaku pass, then we can Wabaku. There's going to be basically no way he can kill it unless he specifically uses like a Regeki or a Dark Hole, and then we summon Gearfried next turn, equip Elma, and we just win the game that way. So Waboku actually plays a very good role in this deck because it will stop him from being able to hit over our threats. For the side deck, we have a Cyber Jar and a Fiber Jar. Both of these cards are actually pretty decent in this deck because the combos are only about 3 cards, so as long as we can get to those cards, we pretty much win the game just on the back of that alone. Cyber Jar is great because it's a +5 for both players, essentially, so being able to get to more cards and potentially more combo pieces faster is pretty nice. Yeah, we can summon Exodia pieces, but again, with Backup Soldier, that's not really the end of the world. And then we have Fiber Jar as well, which can just reset the board entirely. And again, when we're in a position where we're just trying to combo off, Fiber Jar as like a last resort kind of panic button that we can search off of Witch or Sangan if we absolutely have to is a nice option. 1 copy of Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. This is a way that we can actually search Butterfly Dagger Elma, and later iterations of the deck actually use this when Butterfly Dagger Elma got limited. Its effect reads, you flip it up, add 1 equipped spell from your deck to your hand. It's also nice because it can search something like Snatch Steal if you absolutely need to. 1 copy of Tribe Infecting Virus. This card is now limited. I just wanted to have this in here as another board wipe, but it's also a little bit more proactive because it's on a body. That way we can kind of keep Joseph's threats in check if we have to. 3 copies of Book of Moon. This is primarily in here if Joseph were on Magical Scientist FDK because it's a nice way to stop the combo if we were to win the die roll and had a chance to set up. It's still a nice versatile card all around though, so I just want to have it in here just in case. We also have a Dark Hole and a Heavy Storm. I'm not main decking these because honestly I just want to have as many combo pieces as possible. It just depends on how aggressive of a deck Joseph would be on if we want to pursue that route. 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon for any sort of back row shenanigans. 1 Swords of Revealing Light to again slow the game down. If he doesn't have any removal for this card's actually fantastic. And then 2 copies of Torrential Tribute to pair with the Dark Hole because more board wipes is always nice. I also just realized I'm not playing Regeki. I probably should put these in here somewhere, so I am going to. And there we go. So Regeki's in the side deck as well. Again, if it's a more aggressive strategy, I'll probably side these in, but otherwise they just don't really have a place in here because I'm primarily just trying to combo off, and that is the name of the game. But this is going to be a really fun episode, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel. Joseph, this is super exciting. This is one of the last episodes. Actually, this is the last episode before we embark on the set that changed Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. Invasion of Chaos, baby. That is going to be a huge episode, and I cannot wait to film it. But for the time being, we still have Dark Crisis. We can't forget about this set. There's actually a lot of pretty interesting cards in this set, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I guess we'll have to wait until next week to see Triple Said, Triple Yada format. I'm sure it is just fantastic. Just a really enjoyable style of Yu-Gi-Oh! But Dark Crisis is not anything to turn your nose up at. There's a lot of sweet stuff in here. Sakuratsu Armor, if you ever played as a child, you probably remember as the schoolyard staple, came out in this set, alongside Archfiends, one of the first archetypes of all time, one that required the errata of like 20 other cards, alongside a card that's very near and dear to my own heart, Skill Drain.
Yes, Skill Drain is quite a card, still limited for us TCG players to this very day, although in the OCG they have it at 3, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good idea. Yeah, I mean, Dark Crisis introduced just a myriad of good cards. It's funny when you talk about Sakuratsu Armor and it being a playground staple. It was one of the few playground staples that was actually just like meta, and that doesn't happen very often, and it's solely because the card was a common, and it was just so good. It's 1-for-1 removal. There was hardly hardly any way to interact with it, and everyone just played it at 2 or 3 copies because it's Sakuratsu Armor.
Yeah, it kind of checks all the boxes. There's also some stuff in here that gets better later, like Tsukiyomi, but I think we're putting a pin in them for the time being.
Yeah, and I can't wait till we do get to finally visit those, but man, this is going to be a fun episode. I cannot wait to see it, and so let's go ahead and do that rock, paper, scissors, but before we do have to shout out our patron. It is the True Rose, a very nice and uplifting name that's very non-Yu-Gi-Oh! Player related, but thank you so much for your support. And Joseph, ooh, okay. Interesting.
Right.
I think this die roll actually matters pretty significantly here.
I'm about 0 and 8 on die rolls, so we shall see.
I plan to not change that anytime. Oh, come on.
Should have kept picking paper.
You should have. I'm just rolling the die like I always do.
Oh!
Yes. Please, baby, get me what I want in this opening hand. I am going first. Joseph, good luck. You are going to need it, my friend.
Yeah, apparently. This hand's pretty good, but knowing what you probably have lurking in your deck, I'm not super excited.
Well, I'll start by drawing for turn, and we'll go straight to main phase 1. I'm going to fire off this Upstart Goblin, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's completely fine with me.
Okay. Actually, I will use that after using a soul absorption, so let me actually gain 500 and not be bad from that.
Okay. Soul absorption is fine.
Yeah, it's fine, right? All right, so let's draw for Upstart Goblin. Ooh. I mean, it's not the worst, not the best. I suppose I will just have a very basic turn of set, pass. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to draw for turn. Oh, God. Set cards. So there is a 0% chance that is not Royal Magical Library exactly.
Maybe. There's other cards it could be. There's floaters, there's recruiters, there's plenty of cards it could be.
Yeah. Well, let's start with a Spear Dragon.
Sure, that's a good one. We haven't seen this card in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet.
We haven't yet. This card saw a non-zero amount of play. It was kind of everywhere. Before anything like Azura Priest, there just wasn't a good goat out, and Spear Dragon at least punishes your opponent a little bit for putting a 0 attack monster on the field.
This is going to give it away. It is unfortunately Royal Magical Library, so take your 100 damage, sir. I gave you the Upstart Goblin 1000, so that's on me. You can have it.
I appreciate it. And to defense position, my copy of Spear Dragon goes. Unfortunately, my turn is similarly boring, so I will pass back to you.
All right, I will draw for turn, and we will just go straight into our main phase 1 here. Let's see what we can do. I suppose I shall normal summon a copy of Gearfried the Iron Knight.
Oh, holy guacamole. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, now you do have 2 back row, so there's probably a 0% chance that this is actually going to go through. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm going to activate Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Oh, God. Okay. I will activate Skildra.
I was going to say, there's no way you don't have it. Okay, so this is so unfortunate. I do gain the 500 from Soul Absorption, which is nice, so I will take that. This would have just been the absolute win right here. So had this resolved, not only would I have been able to draw my whole deck, I also would have just had infinite life points here. So there was 2 different ways I could have won this game, but Skill Drain, unfortunately, it was not happening. I suppose I shall just go to the battle phase, and I will attempt to hit into your Spear Dragon.
No, not my Spear Dragon.
I'll go to main phase 2, and I suppose I shall just pass the turn.
All right, I will draw for turn. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I'll go ahead and activate Pot of Greed,
That's
baby.
a nice one. Yep, go ahead.
Oh my God, and I am going to follow it up with a copy of Graceful Charity.
That's good. Sure.
It's about to get better. Sinister Serpent to the graveyard.
Wow, nice. I also just realized I should be gaining 500 for every time a spell card is activated, not just my own, so I'm going to gain an extra 1,000 here from that pot and Graceful Charity.
I'll send the Spear Dragon to the graveyard. I don't care too much for it. We'll go ahead and activate Harpy's Feather Duster here.
I'll gain the 500 before that at least resolves, and in response, I will chain Wabaku.
That is extremely annoying.
Since Elma was sent to the graveyard while it was equipped, I will use the effect of Elma, and I will add it back to my hand.
All right, sounds good. Dang, this is a thinker. All right. Oh, what am I talking about? This isn't a thinker at all. I'll activate Raigeki.
Wow, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, and I have to think about it. Oh, wow.
We're going to summon a giant orc and pass it back to you.
Yeah, thankfully the Wabaku was saving me there a bit. I will draw, and that's not what we want to see. Giant Orc is quite the annoying card at this juncture. I need to figure out what exactly I'm going to do about that.
What I like about Giant Orc is that he's got a physique that you just don't see anymore. He's clearly overweight, but like he has muscles in his stomach. It's unbelievable. The man is a modern Hercules.
And this is just one of the reasons why Skill Drain is such a good card, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that in the TCG, because we have one copy, decks like Eldritch, which are super controlling and meta in the modern metagame, have the ability to flex other archetypes, but make no mistake, if this card was at 3, we would be doing exactly what the OCG is, and just jamming 3 of it into a deck, turning off our brains, summoning the equivalent of 2020 Giant Orc, and waiting for the game to end.
So I think I am just going to have a nice simple turn of setting a card and passing. Go ahead.
All right, I'll draw for turn. That's a very interesting one. Well, I expect you have Waboku. It's likely you have, like, Mirror Force as well. I don't know how concerned I am about it, though. I'm going to normal summon a Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer.
Oh, so you are on Kaiku. Interesting. That's fine.
Yeah. One thing that was weird about these decks when I was looking at old Pojo builds from 2000 and whenever, written by children who are now corporate executives, I'm sure, is that they were playing not only the suite of monsters like Giant Orc with Synergy, but also some cards like Kaiku that are just good in a vacuum.
And plus, they're also good because, we're not going to go that way. I'm going to take 1800. But they're also just good because if you don't have Skill Drain up, then they are actually having some sort of utility. And so we're going to take that Giant Orc hit as well. So 4,000 damage. I am still just sitting under 8,000. So that's Spell Absorption coming in quite clutch for me. Ooh, that's not what we want to see. I will go to main 1, however. I feel like my back's a little bit against the wall here, but I think I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off a copy of Monster Reborn.
Okay.
Now, I don't know exactly what I want to target here. Like, Gearfried's good. Spear Dragon is also fine because Skill Drain is active. I think I'm going to take the Spear Dragon.
Sure.
Okay. We're going to equip Spear Dragon with Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Ah, okay. And now it challenges the Giant Orc.
We're going to equip Spear Dragon with Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Okay, it no longer challenges the Orc.
I will go to the battle phase. I am going to hit into your Kaiku.
All right, I'll take 600 here.
700. All right, and that's going to be the end of my turn. Go ahead.
All right, I will draw. In standby, I'll add back Serpent.
You remembered this time. If I didn't Monster Reborn, you probably wouldn't have realized it was still there.
Oh, no, I'm sure I wouldn't have. I have to do math a little bit. Spear Dragon is a big boy. He's at 25?
Correct.
Oh, my God. Okay.
25 plus 22 is 47 if you happen to have the Snatch Seal or the Change of Heart. So I am very close to dead if that's the case.
It could be anything.
It could be, yeah. It could be anything, I'm sure, if you're having to crunch the numbers over there.
I'm trying to figure out if I can walk over it without doing this, but I don't think there's a way I can. We're going to go Tribe Infecting Virus.
Sure.
Oh, and I've just realized the problem. Oh, God. All right, fine. Let's fire off Change of Heart. Give me your Spear Dragon.
Okay. I figured you were going to have something, so go ahead. Am I dead here?
You are not, unfortunately. This takes you to 200 life points.
Okay. Happy to hear that.
All right, in main phase 2, I'll set a card. Do I fire off Tribe Infecting Virus as a comedy joke? No, I think I'm good.
That's unfortunate. I mean, if you have the Serpent in hand, what did you have to lose?
Right.
I'll draw. All right, I will attempt to go to the battle phase. Let's try to hit over your tribe.
I do have a Mirror Force.
I figured as much. It's fine. It was bound to happen. Anyway, I will add both of these Elmas back to my hand. Hey, so Simo from the future here as I'm editing this episode of the History of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this was bound to happen eventually, but I need to take a moment and step in. Being the terrible Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that Joseph and I are, we have no understanding of how Butterfly Dagger Elma works whatsoever. If we take a look at the Yugipedia, it says, if the monster that Butterfly Dagger Elma is equipped to is destroyed as a result of battle or by a card effect like Sakuratsu Armor or Fisher, then Butterfly Dagger Elma cannot return to your hand because it is no longer equipped to a monster. There are numerous occasions throughout this episode where I am going to use Butterfly Dagger Elma incorrectly, so I'm just going to give you a heads up now. By extension, Butterfly Dagger Elma is also one of those cards that can miss timing because it's an old card that has when you can text structure. So as a result of that, there may have been opportunities that the card missed timing as well that we might have overlooked. At the end of the day, this series is just for fun. Joseph and I have fucked things up before, and this is just another instance of that, but I wanted to get ahead of this one because this is probably one of the biggest fuck-ups we've had. With all that said, this episode is still hilarious, so kick back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy. Well, I'll go to main phase 2, and not really too much I can do besides setting a card and passing, so go ahead.
All right, I will go to main phase 1. This is frustrating. All right, I'm going to activate Delinquent Duo.
Oh, that's unfortunate, so go ahead and pick a card out of my hand first.
All right, let me get this one.
Okay, that was one copy of Elma.
Awesome.
And I think... You know, the Elmas are actually pretty good in this sort of like beatdown battle we're having. I actually think I'm going to get rid of, and this shouldn't be a surprise that I'm playing this, the left arm of the Forbidden One.
Yeah, you probably have to have a win condition for this setup. I'm going to normal summon a Sinister Serpent.
Sure.
And then let's go to combat, I suppose. We will attack with Tribe Infecting Virus.
So Skill Drain is a good card, but it doesn't affect cards in the graveyard. Mystic Tomato.
Okay,
so now this doesn't
good.
really matter all that much because anything I summon, you're just going to get over with Giant Orc. So I'm just going to go ahead for comedy's sake, summon out a leg just so you can attack with Sinister Serpent so it can get over something.
I will decline that and walk over that leg very gladly.
You know, Joseph, after getting Magical Scientist FTK'd in the last episode, I probably deserve to have my second FTK get skill drained, unfortunately. That's just how the game goes. But
you had it! How is that fair?
I did have it. I did. It took a turn because I didn't have the Gear Freed.
Oh, you ripped the Gear Freed. Fantastic.
I ripped it, yes. The Gear Freed is necessary for both versions of the OTK or the FTK. So unfortunately, it wasn't going to happen. But I get to go first one more time. So hopefully, if the planets align, we will get to pull this off once. Damn. All right, I'll draw. Maybe there's still hope. Damn. Okay. All right, what's the backup plan?
Breathe a sigh of relief. Oh.
What's the backup plan?
RML beats.
All right, I'm going to start with a Spell Absorption.
Well, okay. Looks like I am going to have to get over way more than 8,000 life again.
I'm going to Reinforcement of the Army, trigger Spell Absorption.
There's your Gear Freed.
Yes, I have the Gear Freed, but I'm missing other pieces, unfortunately.
What? You didn't draw your 3-card combo?
I know. What is weird, right? How could I not draw the 3-card combo in my opening 6-card hand? Unfortunate, but we must do what we must do. I shall just start my turn by simply setting a card and passing to you.
All right. Time to walk into another Royal Magical Library. Let's go, buddy. Oh, this is a bad one. All right. Well, we'll try it again. Spear Dragon to the rescue. Don't be a Royal Magical Library.
This time it will get in. It is a Mystic Tomato. But I'm happy to at least get something out of this here. I think I will grab myself a copy of Witch of the Black Forest. Let's put her in attack position.
Interesting. All right, I will switch my monster to defense. I will set 2 cards, and buddy, you are good to go.
Can't wait to have another skill drain flipped on me. I'll draw. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Okay, well, the nice thing is that at least my deck has some sort of beaters to it, I suppose. And I really want to get in for damage, but I also don't want to die. So I'm just going to go to battle phase and try to hit into Spear Dragon here.
All right, I am going to, on attack declaration, activate Final Attack Orders.
Ooh, okay. So this is a good one. This will force your Spear Dragon to attack during the battle, so I don't get to redeclare or anything. So I will actually take 800 damage from this, and my Witch will suffer.
Witch.
I do, and the card goes to my hand at the very least, so I guess it could be worse. Okay, what do we want to grab? Well, I guess it's a good a time as any. I'm going to add Left Arm of the Forbidden One.
Oh, God. Okay, so you've got 6 cards in hand, so it's 4 pieces of Exodia right now, right?
Obviously. I will go to main phase 2, however. I'm going to Feather Duster here. I need to get rid of that Final Attack Orders, and I'll trigger Spell Absorption and gain 500.
Not be doing so.
Ooh, all right, so I will not be gaining 500, so let me actually go back down here. That's a rough one. All right. Well, that complicates things. I shall, in main phase 2, then, normal summon a copy of Shining Angel and pass the turn.
All right, I'll draw for turn. Ooh, that's a rough one. Now I have to decide. So, Shining Angel is a hell of a card. There's some good targets. I'm trying to think what you could possibly get. You could be using Shining Angel just to cycle through recruiters, obviously. Royal Magical Library is the clear pick, and you can just cycle through recruiters until I'm out of attacks in order to end on Royal Magical Library. I actually think I'm going to let Imperial Order go.
Interesting. Okay.
That's so I can activate Raigeki here.
Fair. That's understandable. So that will go. I will gain 500 from spell absorption, so that's nice.
Boo. But I can race that with my Witch of the Black Forest.
You can. So I will take a total of 3,000 damage here.
Oh, and my Spear Dragon remains in attack. How broken! I will set one card and pass it back to you.
Especially when he has piercing on top of it. It's just crazy, isn't it?
He
All right.
is a hell of a card.
Now we have to figure out what we're going to do here. Final attack orders, the nice thing about it is that even if I have Royal Magical Library, if I set it, it won't get switched to attack position until you attack it, which at that point, it will then get switched to attack position. So it's not going to be walling up from anything anytime soon, as long as that card remains on the field.
Final attack orders is cool, but it is certainly not all-out attacks. It's not Light of Judgment. It's not Royal Command. Flip effect monsters and their nonsense they enable are still very much on the table.
Correct. So with that being said, suppose I have to do what I have to do. I'm going to normal summon Gearfried the Iron Knight.
Oh, geez. I will Solemn Judgment.
Ooh, all right. So there goes half your life points. Fine by me. And with that said, I shall just pass the turn.
All right, I will draw for turn. Oh, and what do you know? Pot of Greed off the top.
Again? Oh my god.
Oh!
I mean, at least I get 500 life points, so thank you for that at least.
It would be a lot better if I had something to do with all of these cards. Okay, fine. We'll just attack in.
I'll take the 3k.
All right, go to main phase 2. I will set 2, and you are good to go.
Wow, 2 traps off the top. Couldn't ask for more, could you?
Well, I could ask for them to be good.
That's fair. That is very fair. Well, it didn't work the first time. Let's try a second time.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say to that.
Okay, well, at least we have that going on for us. I will attempt to activate Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Targeting?
Gearfried the Iron Knight.
Oh, boy. Okay, with spell absorption on the field, you are about to gain infinity life.
You have the skill drain. Come on.
I don't know. Yeah, that's fine.
What?
Yeah, I have an out, but I think I have screwed myself out of it.
Okay, so activate this 5 million times?
Yup, sounds good.
All right. At this point, I guess when I decide to stop activating it, Butterfly Dagger Elma will be in my hand. So are we just going to assume I'm on infinite life at this point? That there's zero way? Okay.
We won't worry about it.
So now this is an interesting game that we have on our hands because you can't beat me through life points. So now this just becomes a game of can I guess, just kill you, I suppose?
Can you kill me or can you assemble Exodia? I know you've got some of it.
Right. This is going to be interesting. Okay. So I can't equip my Gearfried with Elma. I mean, I could, but I'm at infinite life at this point. So it's irrelevant. I will go ahead and proceed to the battle phase, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I will attempt to attack into Witch with Gearfried.
Oh, good. I'll take 700 here.
Okay, go ahead and get your search.
I'm going to get Kaiku.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understandable. That's where your win condition lies. I will go to main phase 2, and I'll just pass the turn. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll draw for turn. That's a good one. We are going to normal summon Goblin Attack Force.
He's big.
I'll proceed to combat. I'll wipe the Gearfried, and you are good.
So I will lose, I actually gained that by accident. I'm just going to keep track just for the sake of the audience. I want to see where the life total ends up if I'm actually doing the math.
I think if I max hit you every turn, I don't come close.
I'll draw. Let's see what we can do. That's actually not a bad one. I know you have Kaiku, which is a bit annoying. I have all the time in the world. That's the best part about this. But I need to make sure it counts. Is there a better opportunity to do this? I don't think so, actually. I'm going to fire off Raigeki.
All right. I will lose my board.
Okay. Again, I know you still have the Kaiku, so this isn't like the biggest deal. I'll normal summon Shining Elf.
Sure.
I'll equip it with Elma.
All right.
And battle phase, I'll attempt to hit you for 17.
Sure.
And I'll just pass the turn. I also gained 500 from that Elma activation, because we're keeping track.
All right, I'm going to normal Kaiku, and we'll get in.
Sure. So Elma will go back to my hand. Angel will die. I'll take 100. Would you like to banish from my graveyard?
I would. I'm going to take the Witch and the Tomato.
Okay. Shining Angel will get the search here. Oh, actually, Shining Angel's optional. I will not do it. It's not mandatory. I keep thinking these cards are mandatory.
Dang, I was really excited.
Right.
I was like, oh, thank God I can draw a card again.
All right, I will draw. That's pretty funny. So final attack orders is up. I think I'll just pass. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to set 1. We'll go to battle. I'll get some more crap out of your graveyard.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Not my Gear Freeds. I'll draw. I will just set a card, and I'll pass.
All right, I found a Spear Dragon, but I don't think it really does anything. I'm going to play it anyway and then go to combat.
Sure, you want to get some more stuff out of my graveyard?
I think that is all of it. Where is my white magical hat? That's what I'm wondering.
That would be a nice one.
My kingdom for a Don Zalug. Think how good that would be right now.
I'll pass. Go ahead.
Oh, that's a very interesting one. I'll pass as well.
This is just going to become a pass fest here very shortly. I'll pass.
Okay, I'm going to normal summon Jinzo.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah,
And then
that's
I'll
fine. Exciting gameplay. I'll draw. All right, that's fine, I suppose. I'll set a card. Go ahead.
I'll draw. Oh, wow. Yeah, that does nothing. All right, I'll pass.
I'll draw.
I keep ripping insane cards off the top of my deck and then going, oh, right, Cimo has 900 million life points.
Right, the whole dynamic of the game changes when you realize that I don't die to battle. Okay, what can we do? I suppose I will just set a monster and I'll pass the turn.
Okay, I will draw. Well, shoot, let's see what that monster is.
It is a Royal Magical Library.
And I'll try and get it out of your grave.
Sure. I will draw. All right. I shall do as I did before and just set and pass.
And I'll do as I did before. Let's see what that is.
This time it's a Mystic Tomato.
Do you want it?
I kind of do, actually. Bring out another one.
That's interesting. You are either setting up for your own Jinzo or you have something that I don't know about. Let's see if it's something I don't know about.
You're good. I'll take the 400. I will get the search, though. And I'll bring out Sangan this time around. Just cycle into so at least I have another monster.
Sure. I'll pass turn.
All right. I will draw. I'm going to normal summon Royal Magical Library.
Fine by me.
I'm going to activate Graceful Charity.
Okay.
See how deep we can go. That's deep. It's not deep enough. When my banished pile is larger than my graveyard. Thank you, Kaiku. I suppose I shall pitch this reinforcement of the army, and I shall also pitch this copy of Waboku.
Hey, you get to gain life points again.
I do, yeah. I gained 500 from that. It was great. Royal Magical Library will also get a counter.
Yep.
I will activate Butterfly Dagger Elba, targeting Sangan.
Sure.
Royal Magical Library gets a counter. I gain 500. I'll activate another Butterfly Dagger Elma, targeting Sangan.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. Royal Magical Library gets a counter. I gain 500. I will use the effect of Royal Magical Library. Oh, Skill Drain?
No, Skill Drain with Jinzo on field would be hilarious.
Oh,
but
that's
no,
true.
I have Book of Moon.
Well, thank you for the 500.
You know what's really funny is I had the Book of Moon on the Elma turn, but I can't activate it under fucking final attack orders.
So both Elmas will go back to my hand per their effect. And I was just trying to do whatever I could, I suppose. Fortunately, I guess that wasn't enough. I do have a Pot of Greed, so I'm going to try to go for that.
Wow, all right.
Was off of the Graceful Charity, so I can't complain. We'll gain 500 from the spell absorption. And while we're at it, I'll just fire off an Upstart Goblin as well. You can have some life points.
Okay, well, this game is now going to end in Exodia or bust.
That's what I feel as well. Now we're in an interesting situation here. I'm going to activate Elma, target Sangan.
Sure.
I'm going to activate Elma, target Sangan.
Yeah.
I'm going to activate Elma, target Sangan.
Uh-huh.
I will gain 1,500 life points, and I will go to the battle phase.
Sounds good.
I will attack into Kaiku.
No, sure. I'll take my 100.
100, yeah.
You got it.
Main phase 2, I'll just pass. Go ahead.
All right. I will.
Never in my life did I think I would activate 3 Butterfly Dagger Elmas and actually kill something as a result of it.
I'm gonna cross out the Royal Magical Library.
No, not my. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Excuse me. Get that out of here. Yeah, that's fine. I'll gain the 500. Thank you.
I'll normal summon Goblin attack. We'll go to combat.
Okay, so I'm gonna take 500 from this.
I admire your dedication to keeping the life points honest.
You know, we have to. It's for the viewer experience. I will trigger the Sangen as well.
You have to be close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. God.
And I will also take the 2300 from Goblin Attack Force.
Oh, if you want. I'm pretty far off it.
It's important, Joseph. It's important. I'll draw. All right. Well, I'm going to normal summon a copy of Royal Magical Library.
Yes.
I will activate Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Yes.
I will activate Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Also okay.
I will activate a 3rd Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Okay, is this fine?
All good.
All right, I will attempt to remove 3 counters from Royal Magical Library to draw a card.
Draw your last pathetic card so I can end this, Alex.
Unfortunate. All right, well, that's not going to do anything. I do gain 1,500 life points from all of that, though. So that was the exciting portion. But unfortunately, I think I'm just going to have to end my turn here. So go ahead.
All right. Oh, well, that's very interesting. All right, I am going to Feather Duster.
Yeah, sure. I'll gain 500 before that goes through. And I will add 3 copies of Elma to my hand. There goes my spell absorption, and there goes my Waboku, which was doing absolutely nothing.
Right. And then library gets a counter.
Correct. I don't think it's gonna matter.
Change of heart to take
are you gonna draw your own card?
And then I'll premature burial.
Oh, look at the plays. I love it.
Oh, we gotta find something. More importantly, it does get Kaiku, which is
that's a good one.
Important. All right,
sure.
We'll take all these counters off. Let's see what we find. Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Let's
all right,
get those,
so
those monsters out of the grave.
I'm going to take 18, 23, and 2400 damage here.
All right, go ahead. And you
all
can
right, my hand is 8 jillion cards. Yeah, thank you for my library after you used all the counters. That's so rude of you. I will draw. It's nothing fancy, but we've been doing it thus far, so I suppose we shall continue. I shall activate spell absorption.
Yeah, go ahead. You really need the life points, I think.
I'll activate Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Yup.
I'll activate Butterfly Dagger Elma. I'll activate Butterfly Dagger Elma.
Sounds good.
I will attempt to remove the counters from Elma, or from library. Is that fine?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, I'll also gain 1,500 life points here, and I will draw a card. Here's what it is, I suppose. It's something. I am going to set a card, and I will pass my turn. Go ahead.
I will draw. Ooh, that is a very interesting one. All right. I will proceed to combat. Get in with the Jinzo.
Okay, so I will take 1,500 from this. I think I was doing 2,400 the whole time, but that's fine. I will get 3 copies of Elma back to my hand.
And we'll go ahead and banish the library as well.
Sure, that's fine. So I'll take 23 and 41. 23 plus 18 is 41.
All right, you are good to go.
I'll draw. You know, you think we would have it by this point, but we're hoping. We're hoping. I shall just set a card face down. Well, I'm going to have to set some more cards, I suppose, if I don't want to lose them all. I'll set this face down as well. I'm going to normal summon Gear-Free the Iron Knight.
All good.
I am going to activate Butterfly Dagger Elma, which will get me back up to 1,000,000 life points.
As much as you want, buddy.
Battle phase.
Yep.
I will crash into Kaiku.
I needed that.
I didn't need you to need it. So with that said, go to main phase 2. I suppose I'll just pass the turn. And I think sadly, we're going to start to see some of these copies of Elma go to the graveyard. It sucks, but
God.
you know, has to happen. Go ahead. I think I have enough life points now that I can get rid of these copies of Elma.
It sucks for one person at the table. I am good. Go ahead.
All right, I'll draw. Joseph, the time has finally come. I have assembled all 5 pieces of Exodia, the Forbidden One. Behold!
Is this what that felt like? Oh, God, it's terrible. Oh, Jesus. Do you have any idea how much had to go wrong for that to happen? I'm sitting here praying for Delinquent Duo. I'm like, please, God, Oh my. Okay, well now I know how it feels to be on the receiving end of Exodia, and I will tell you, I do not like it.
There's some justice there somewhere, I'm sure. But at least this time, you get to go first. For people wondering, we had Dueling Book had some issues, so we had to just restart the game 3 here. Joseph gets to go first. That's frightening. I guarantee that this is not going to happen again. All you had to do was duo or confiscation, kaiku me, and it was just game over. I was waiting for it, and I somehow pulled it out of my ass, and here we are. So, Joseph, good luck. I'm scared.
Ooh, you admitted defeat, so you'll have to click first.
Of course, I did. And in our divine wisdom as content creators, just trying to scurry into a game 3, I actually have to pick, but Joseph will be the one going first, which is why I'm picking second. Obviously, he wants to get the card, but Joseph did, in fact, lose the second game, but that's why I'm picking. So, Joseph, good luck. My hand is god-awful, so have fun.
my hand is... oh god. All right. Well, I'm gonna set a couple of cards and hope that it's gonna be enough. Pass back to you, buddy.
All right. There's no way. Okay. I have not much I can do with this hand. I'm gonna normal summon Sangan.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go to the battle phase. I'm going to attack for 1,000.
I suppose I will take it. If life points end up mattering, then I guess I will. This is a pretty big punish.
Go.
Okay. Well, I ripped a giant orc off the top, so I guess let's
It's
get
something.
blasting.
All right. So I will take 1,200 from this, and I will activate Sangan's effect.
All fine by me.
I will add the right arm of the Forbidden One.
Oh my god, are we here already? Holy shit.
It's something.
Okay,
It's
I'll
something.
pass back to you. Good luck, Yugi.
I'll draw. I'll activate Monster Reborn targeting Sangan.
Holy broken! Sure.
I'll summon Sangan. I'll go to battle and attempt to attack over your giant orc.
I am going to Ring of Destruction my giant orc.
Okay, so we're both gonna take 2,200.
Someone's got to advance this game state.
Go ahead.
All right. I will draw for turn. Ooh, that is an interesting one. I am going to think very hard about this. I'm gonna set one, normal summon a Kaiku.
Okay.
And I wish I had led with this. It could have stopped the reborn.
Joseph Rothschild.
There's no way. 8 cards
Joseph
deep. Absolutely
Rothschild.
not. Absolutely
Did you not learn your lesson the
Oh
first
my
time
God,
you
absolutely
faced
not.
Exodia, the Forbidden One? I have assembled all 5 pieces yet again of the ultimate being in dual monsters. Have you no shame? Bow down before your great Egyptian overlord, because this is your fate!
You're 9 cards deep! Holy fuck a moly. Oh my god. I mean, what could I have done? What could I have done? Oh, Jesus.
Holy fuck. Okay. I'm gonna start this by saying something. Okay, so prior to this game 3 happening, Joseph had actually won game 3. We didn't realize until after the fact that one of my cameras wasn't recording. So we had to redo the game 3. As a result of that, we attempted to reconfigure it and replay the game out as it was. Joseph just beat me into the ground with skill drain and triple goblin attack force. That's basically all it was. So we didn't intend for this to happen, but when my opening hand was 2 Exodia pieces, Sangan, Monster Reborn, and then I draw a 3rd piece of Exodia for turn, that's what happened. Now, I'm gonna say this, even though this happened, Joseph gets the win this round, because this was supposed to be the redo game where Joseph won for you guys, the power of editing and the things that you don't know that go on behind the scenes. However, I think this is way funnier to end this episode off with.
Holy shit. I mean, what am I supposed to do against this? Oh my god. I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I have probably like a 70-80% win rate here. You know, what's Alice gonna do? Draw 4 Exodia pieces in the first 2 turns? Impossible. Holy
I can't believe
shit.
it. I can't. I am still in awe that happened. And
That's gotta be a record for fastest Exodia.
Maybe this was what turn.
Here.
This was turn 3. This was my turn 2, wasn't it? Because I Sangend and lost the Sangend, and yeah, wow, it's your turn 3, I suppose. But in terms of like Exodia speedrun records, yeah, you're right. This might be one of the fastest. Oh my god, that was a trip. But what else did you have? Like, what were the back row? What was in your hand?
It's attack orders. It's torrential. It's feather duster, reborn giant orc. I was no big deal. I've got it on the crackback, but I did not have it on the crackback, in fact.
I mean, in any other universe where I only had 2 Exodia pieces and not 3, you easily won this game. Like, look at your hand. There's no way I was going to be able to play out of all of this. Wow.
Sometimes you just don't have to play. It's as simple as that.
That's Yu-Gi-Oh, ladies and gentlemen. I guess there really isn't much more to say. But you and I came into this episode. We talked prior to recording. We thought this is going to be a bit of a throwaway episode, right? Invasion of Chaos is the hype episode. We know that's what everyone's looking forward to. And this turned out to be way more interesting than I expected. Get rid of the game 3. Ignore the game 3 that just happened. But the games 1 and 2, the amount of like depth there was in trying to figure out like, okay, how am I still going to get to Exodia with infinite life points? And then you trying to figure out how to hand destruction me, then Kaiku to cut me off, because the only other way I lose with infinite life points is if I deck out. And there was a point in that game where you and I had the same number of cards in our deck. The problem was I was drawing first. So I in no conceivable way could have won by just letting us draw. So in that position, I think we both had like 26, 27 cards still left in deck. I made the conscious decision to start digging for Exodia, because the longer I wait, the quicker you get to your hand destruction and actually take Exodia away from me. So that was the game plan, and fortunately it paid off in that game too. But I mean, wow, this was definitely a set for the ages, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously the next set's crazy, and IOC ruins Yu-Gi-Oh forever.
Of course.
Triple Sed format is going to be just about as much fun as triple confiscation format was. But I will say this was interesting insofar as, the combo that people remember from this time is Magical Scientist. They're like, oh yeah, this is the FTK that everyone remembers. This was an option, and while it's an additional card over Magical Scientist, you need Elma and Gearfried and a way to abuse it, either Royal Magical Library or Soul Absorption or something. It's still a consideration, and you had no problem finding it in the first 2 games. You found it game 1, and but for the skill drain would have had the game, and you found it game 2, and we had to go to a deck out war. Like, it turns out when there's no pressure on you, it doesn't matter that games are, you maybe take 2 or 3 turns to set up an infinite combo. You've got that kind of time. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh, your combo has to be 1 card played through hand traps. Back in the day, you can set a Royal Magical Library and expect to see it on your next turn.
One thing I definitely overlooked for this deck was actually integrating Final Countdown, because Final Countdown could have actually been another alternate win condition that this deck could play, because if you achieve the infinite life point combo with Gearfried and Elma and Soul Absorption, then activating Final Countdown, then you're just waiting until the time elapses on Countdown rather than trying to dig for Exodia pieces. And Countdown's actually at 3 because it just came out in Dark Crisis. So there's almost an argument to maybe that Countdown is better than Exodia here because it can't be as easily stopped. Yes, there are cards like Imperial Order and such, but if you play 3 Countdown, like, that might just be better.
Well, notably, if you had played Countdown instead of Exodia, you would have lost this set. So who's to say? I would argue that Exodia is way better.
That's true. That's 100% true. But I mean, even as a one-of, as like your tertiary win condition for this deck, I think that's something that could have been included. But we'll see some more Final Countdown in the future episodes, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. And the future episodes, I think, will include things that are clearly unfair, but maybe not things that are clearly unfair and also super janky, right? This is probably the last time that the insane unfair deck is also generally not very good. When IOC hits, oh boy, the decks that win in 1 turn are the best possible ones you could be playing.
Yeah, and you can definitely expect to see Joseph and I playing both of those in the next episode. Maybe the one after that. We'll see. We might bring the wheel back in a couple episodes, but definitely next episode, we're going to war. That's for sure. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! We really hope you enjoyed. We have to shout out our patrons over on Patreon. Patreon. So big shouts to Pony Stark, Joshua Wiley, Tim00x3, Michael Dente, Mystic Walk, Oli, Neo Cypher Slacker, Sylvia Wilds, Angayoko, Part 2, Dan the Man Hoban, Synchro Guy, GW, Jarvis Martin, Logan Thomas, Dragon Lord Dollywop, Peter Gregory, Rasmus, Shotagonist, Thomas Nelson, Emil Cohen, Ika Ironfang, Draconic, Alex Smith, Jordan Coons, Timothy Chen, Jesse Wood, True Nerdgasm, Naru Celeste, Chris Hood, Shane Reese, and Jordan Husey. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and we will see you in Invasion of Chaos.